And we're live. What is up? Episode number, what are we at? 13, before the train wreck. How you guys doing tonight? How you doing, Sean?
Good to see you, Rich.
Yeah, it's been another week, another show. We are back, and opening topic today is our tattoos on women, red flags. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody, by the way. Apparently there's a rumor going around today that I bought a McLaren.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it. That's a sweet looking ride. Where are you going to park it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to probably put the daily driver out in the driveway. But yeah, that was just an April Fool's joke. I'm surprised more people didn't catch it in the hashtag because I've said often that I'll never sell or trade in the R8 just because it's just a car that I love that much. But I put in the Instagram post, traded in the R8 today, picking up this beast later. And I was by the dealership earlier this week because I'm trying to work out a deal on something for a rally that I'm doing this summer. And they had this highly spec'd $1.5 million McLaren Senna in the showroom. And I said to the sales manager, who I've become friends with, I said, let's take a quick picture for April Fool's, just, you passing me the key, doing a handshake sort of thing. And a lot of people got fizzled by that. I got a lot of messages and DMs and congrats. And I didn't know you were a billionaire. Everything, within the spectrum. I thought it was hilarious because I thought that there was tons of jokes going out today on social media with April Fools anyway. Where are we at here?
That was a good one. I usually do something with my daughter, and this morning I wasn't feeling very creative this year, so I just did the old Easter egg dye in the bathroom faucet so the water comes out green. She thought that was kind of entertaining.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm sure my kid will do something when I see her the next day. She's a big joker. All right, tattoos. All right, before we hop into it, quick reminder. So a couple things, just some housekeeping stuff. The YouTubes are paying attention to what's happening in the comments, guys. So I've had the comments disabled so that only members can contribute in it. And then people kick and scream, we want to contribute, we want to get into the conversation. So I've opened it up for everybody. But every once in a while you get some troublemaker that shows up in there that says disparaging things, even things that would be considered hateful by the YouTubes of the world. And they don't like that, even though I can't really control it because I can't police the chat and do the broadcast with Sean at the same time or interact with guests. So I kind of rely on you guys to, take care of that and be useful in the comments. So if I see you being a dick, you're going to get removed from the chat and you're not going to be able to participate. So govern yourselves accordingly, guys. The only other thing that I can do is I can put it back to members only, but apparently people don't want to throw $4.99 a month at the channel as a member. You just want to participate for free. So continue to do that. Be good. If you're an ass, I'm going to have to change it. So please govern yourselves accordingly. The show again. Explain to people why we do this show, Sean. I feel like I open it up every episode.
We do this show to help guys avoid wrecking their lives with bad decisions, particularly with women. But there's a lot that goes into that. We've been talking more lately about getting yourself in order before you try to bring women into your life and how that's a huge piece of the recipe.
Yeah, definitely. Huge piece of the recipe. It's about avoiding the train wreck. And I know that some people kind of click and join in because they created a train wreck out of their lives based on choices and decisions. And we'll try to take those from time to time. Be mindful when you engage in the live discussion, when you click the join link. It's hopefully something where you can try to vet a potential problem. You might see the writing on the wall. The spidey senses are tingling. That little voice in your head is saying, hey, dude, you might want to think about this a little bit more before you pull the trigger. Those are the sort of scenarios that we'd like to have talks about. Also, if you have an experience to share that's relevant to what we're talking about, that kind of sheds light on it. I'm a big believer of learning from other people's experiences and wins and losses. Success leaves clues, so do failures. So it's good to have those conversations too. I'm just going to grab the join link and I'll post it in there right now because I know sometimes it takes a while for people to work up the bravery to join us. So talk about tattoos while I'm doing that, Sean, because I have kind of a view on it. You've updated some beliefs on it. What are your beliefs on tattoos and if they're red flags with women?
Well, my beliefs and whether they're red flags are two different things. And this is the reason I wanted to revisit this topic. This came up a couple weeks ago. And I was committing a sin of very lazy thinking. What I was doing is I have my opinion about tattoos. And my opinion is I don't really like tattoos on women. I don't think less of women who have tattoos. I just find them very unattractive. I think they can only do one of two things. They can make a good situation bad or a bad situation worse. And so that's my opinion. And what I was doing is what so many people do with their opinions, which is they start taking them very seriously. So you have your personal opinion, your prejudice, and then you go out and you look at the world and you start collecting data that supports your opinion, and you start ignoring data and factoring out data that contradicts your opinion. This is what I was doing around the topic of tattoos. And so that's why I wanted to revisit this, because I saw myself committing this sin, and I have this malfunctioning brain around this topic, and I wanted to get my brain functioning correctly around this question and go out and look, okay, at the data and see what does the data actually say about tattoos. And I also asked several women about their tattoos just out in the course of wandering around the grocery store and getting my hair cut or whatever. And it turns out that they were more than willing to tell me about their tattoos. So where do you want to start? You had us tell your story about tattoos?
Yeah, so I had this conversation with a friend of mine many years ago. I think it was around the time that I was getting divorced, and he put this theory out. He basically ran it up the flagpole. This is what guys do. Like, we get together, we shoot the shit, we have a theory, let's run up the flagpole and see if we can get everybody to salute it. And the theory was the craziest chicks were the ones with multiple tattoos, tramp stamps, sleeves tattoos, anything close to the face, anything that was visible with regular clothing, but in high numbers. Like, I've dated many women that have like one tattoo, and they're very like normal. They're very cool to deal with. And I've dated women with no tattoos that are total, train wrecks. So it's not necessarily connected in that sense, but it went on to multiple tattoos, thumb rings, smokers. What else did we get? Oh, and single moms. I think those were the main ones. And it was like clockwork. The next week that went by, he was, he had a date over, and he took a picture of his date, who was a single mom with a thumb rim and smoking a cigarette, with tattoos all the way up and down her body, right? And I won't tell you what the next picture was that he sent me about 20 minutes later, but it confirmed the assertion that women with tattoos tend to bring some baggage or problems around. I think the theory, generally speaking, is most guys look at it like it's mutilation, it's bodily mutilation. And it's like putting a bumper sticker on a Ferrari. Like, why would you go and do something like that to something that is beautiful? Because, men look at women as beauty objects. And me personally, I'm not a big fan of women that are covered in tats. I'm okay with one, if it's tastefully placed and it's not, totally visible all the time. But there's some questionable behavior that, leads me to wonder if women with a lot of body art bring some baggage or problems to the table. And I'd be interested to hear people in the comments right now, because we got like close to 400 guys on. So if you think that women with tattoos are red flag type of material, or you should look at it as a red flag, press 1 right now. We'll see what happens. I know there's a little bit of delay from when we're talking and when that comes out, but press 1 right now if you think that tattoos are a big red flag on women. Let's see what happens there in the chat.
So let me give you a little quiz here, Rich. I got some numbers here from this one study called The Millennials' Perception of Tattoos. It was a 2014 study. It had some really interesting information in it. But what percentage of men do you think, at least according to this study, find tattoos on women to be attractive?
I'm going to say probably, well, like, we're talking about millennials.
Yeah, this was specifically millennials.
And my ADD just kicked in like a squirrel just ran by my other screen over here, but there's like thousands of ones popping up right now. It's just they're not showing because for some reason YouTube is holding it for review because it says one, which is really interesting. But before I answer that, type in no if you think that tattoos are not a red flag on women, and let's see how many no's show up. So just type in NO. So as far as millennials go, I'm going to guess it's probably really high, because millennials seem to like the tattoo culture today. I'm going to say like 50, 60, 70%.
Yeah, right on. This study said that 71% of men find tattoos on women sometimes attractive. I don't really know what sometimes mean here, but that 58% of men sometimes find tattoos attractive on women. That's a very high percentage.
That is very high. And that's in what age range?
Millennials. So what ages are millennials?
I don't know, where do they end? 30? I think it's 30 now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
something like that. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you said that you had some updated beliefs based on the research you found and talking to
Well,
some people.
yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about what I found. Well, first of all, did you know that there's an organization called the Alliance of Tattooed or Pierced Professionals, and their mission is to help individuals with tattoos and piercings to find employment, as well as to accredit businesses that are more culturally diverse than their competitors. So that says that this is an issue out there, right? That there's some organization out there that sees that people with tattoos aren't taken as seriously, and that
Well,
actually
as an
showed.
employer, I wouldn't take somebody tatted up seriously.
Would you? Okay, so they had visible tattoos or what?
Oh yeah, like neck tattoos, teardrops under their eyes,
That
some
means you
shit
killed
behind
somebody,
their
right?
ear. Um, yeah. Like, what are you trying to tell me that you've done something, like you've inked a part of your body that's visible to the entire world with some sort of signal or sign? A lot of them usually aren't. They're kind of in that gangster sort of script. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how you describe that.
Yeah, when it shows up on the neck, I know what you mean,
Yeah.
like the calligraphy type
Yeah, or
thing.
like, behind the ear, things like that, where it's like, or, like the hands where there's all this writing, like up and down here, down the forearm, it kind of goes in one long piece. Sleeves to me are always bad. I've never met a chick with a sleeve tattoo that didn't have something wrong going on in their head.
Well, you touched on something just a minute ago. You said, "What are you trying to tell me?" And the first thing I did with this idea of tattoos to try to get my brain on the right track is reframe it and ask myself, "Okay, what is a tattoo?" Well, it's a way of trying to communicate,
It is.
and it's a way of sending a first impression. And I remember a couple years ago, I was walking through Home Depot and I was rounding a corner, and this guy was rounding a corner the other way. Someone was bumped into each other. That happens, and he was all tatted up and pierced, and it was aggressive stuff. Like he looked mean and ugly, and he looked like he was just ready to kick somebody's ass. And so we bump into each other. I made a little joke, he made a little joke, and then we went our way as no big deal. But I was thinking about, after that encounter, why is it important for this guy for me to know, for me to have that very first impression of him that he is tough? What's going on with him that's the first thing he wants people to think about him, is that he's real aggressive. And so it's a form of communication. And one of these studies I came across said that men and women get different tattoos for different reasons. That men will typically get tattoos to illustrate their brotherhood with other men, their connection to other men. And that's why you see like military tattoos and so forth. A lot of group-based tattoos, particularly in older guys.
It's tribal. It's tribal.
Yeah.
Like Jack Dodovan's a guy that we know that's heavily tatted up, but it's very tribal. Like the tats that he have are very tribal to his people.
Yeah,
right?
he's his connections
Yeah.
to other men in particular, not to
Right.
women. And that's an important point, I think. But when women get tattoos, it tends to be for more personal reasons. Let me see if I can find the quote here real quick. That it's a symbol of, okay, it's a decorative statement to express self-identity or a symbol of relationship or to display uniqueness. And that they tend to get tattoos more for personal reasons than personal, private reasons than to illustrate their connection to other people.
So if they're personal and private, why are they on their neck and other visible body parts?
That's a good question.
What are they trying to say? Look at this part of my body over here.
I think that in my reframing this, they're trying to tell the world this is what's important to me, but why? That's the part that I still get unresolved. Like one lady I was talking to, she had sleeve tats on one arm, just on one arm. And I asked her what it meant. And she said that it was a reminder to herself to persevere through difficulties and tribulations. And I didn't ask her what kind of tribulation she'd been through, because that seemed kind of personal for the context. But why would she take that very personal message and put it out there for the whole world to see? And then on the other arm, she had elephants. And I asked her what the elephants were about. She said, "Oh, I just really like elephants." And she described why she likes elephants, because they're smart and they're social and so forth. And yeah, I don't know. It's nice that she likes elephant. My wife likes horses, but she doesn't have pictures of horses etched onto her body. So it still doesn't answer the question, why do you want the world to know about this?
I have a theory. I think it's because they just want the attention. They want to draw eyes to it. I mean, you put tattoos in parts of your body in places that draw eyes to sexual sort of components of the female anatomy or close to it, lower back, bikini line, small of the shoulder blade, like pretty much any part of the female anatomy, if it's attractive, is going to draw your attention to sexual thoughts, generally speaking. I mean, there's always somebody that has some kind of fetish there, but I mean, I get the whole tribal thing. That makes sense, but again, like, what are they trying to say by inking up their body? I mean, what does a guy say when he puts bumper stickers all over his car?
I don't know. I don't do that
Right.
because I don't like my car to be blemished that way. But that's just
Right.
me. That's a personal thing, right? See, so then I could go around in the world and I could say, oh, well, that guy's cool because he doesn't have them. That guy's a douchebag because he's got the coexist sticker or whatever. And then I'm just committing that sin that I was already committing with tattoos, which is just confirming my own opinion and pretending that my opinion has any kind of weight in the world.
Yeah.
And I realize that, like, you and I are in the minority. I think I dislike tattoos more than you do on women, and I'm clearly in the minority there. But because I dislike them doesn't mean it has any bearing on men vetting women for their lives. I think to bring into their lives, I think the more important
you got a
question is,
daughter
what
here.
does it mean?
Okay.
What are you trying to say?
Okay, so I got a question for you. So you got a daughter, right? So my daughter figured out that if you use a eyeliner, you can draw a little tattoo on your wrist, on your foot, and when she does her get together, dates with her friends, they're doing nails and girly stuff, and now she's starting to like draw things on her body, and I have to explain to her, well, those are trashy. Men don't like women that put those things on their body, and you have to understand it's permanent, right? And it's weird having that conversation. I don't know if your daughter's ever done that. She's about 11 years old, you said?
Yeah, and she's very conformist. She's almost too conformist, so she'll probably never. She doesn't want to have her ears pierced, let alone get any tattoos.
Yeah, I think that her motive is more of like the expression of the art. But it's got to be made clear, I think, that that's permanent. It's going to be on your body forever. And as far as I'm aware, I believe the tattoo removal industry is bigger business than tattoo shops. I don't know where I saw that stat. I think it might have been George Bruno that posted it a couple months ago on Twitter somewhere. But I mean, if tattoos are so good and such a great expression, why are so many people getting them removed?
The regret that was something that showed up in a couple of
Buyer's
studies.
remorse.
Yeah,
Buyer's remorse.
people regret them almost immediately or several years down the road. And
what about things like piercings? Did you get any data on that or any info on that?
Just a couple of studies. There's one interesting study about physicians, and it was about mainly millennial physicians and millennial patients. Or actually, no, scratch that. That's not what it was. It was just about physicians. And the researchers were looking at what is the perception of a physician when a physician walks in with visible tattoos and visible piercings other than your ears pierced. And it has a really dramatic effect in that it causes people to trust less in that physician's competence.
Yeah, I could see that. But I mean, by the same token, if the shit hits the fan and I have to pick my tribe, I'm probably going to pick the musclehead tattoo dude over the pencil neck geek that works as a physician in his day job before the power was cut and the zombies came.
Yeah, I have no problem with the muscle-headed guy tattooed up. I have no problem with that guy at all. I just don't like him on.
And that's a double standard.
It's total double standard.
People will probably get pissed off. Well, why can men do it, but women can't do it? Well, I think it's been accepted for a much longer period of time that was like a rite of passage for men. Tribal body art has been around, since the beginning of time. Although I don't know that much about women doing it nearly as much as men do.
No, and I didn't find much on the history of women doing it. A lot of history of men doing it.
It's just recent. Like when I was younger, there wasn't a lot of chicks with tattoos. I remember the first girl that I dated that had a tattoo. I think I was 25. That's dating me because I'm 45. But I mean, like it wasn't that popular when I was younger. But now it's like you look everywhere and there's teenagers with tattoos, right?
Yeah, like you and I were 25, like back in the early 1900s, right? And people were still driving steam cars and
a horse and buggy,
right? Yeah, that's unusual that somebody at that age. It doesn't go quite back that far, but
do you think it ties into toxic feminism at all, or are we going too far?
I think we're going too far based on what I read, that women tend to get tattoos to mark personal relationships and events.
All right, let's open it up to people that have questions, scenarios they want to vet. I've posted the join link there. Click it from a Chrome browser. You should be able to get in quite easily. If not, Android phones have it native. I believe you have to download it for iOS. Some iOS phones have it native as well. But if you have a scenario that you want to vet, a question you want to ask, an experience that might be relevant to help other guys avoid train wrecks in their lives, join us. That's what we're here for. We'll be on for about another 70 minutes. We'll be on until 9:30 Eastern Standard Time.
So let's wrap up this. I'll wrap up this, at least my side of it, by saying be careful with your opinions, because your opinions, this is one of the points I made in my book, is like your opinions about what works in relationships are sometimes the worst source of data. And that's exactly what I was doing. So just be careful not to take your mind too seriously.
But Sean, so many people pressed 1. Far more than the ones that said no.
And what does 1 mean again? That they liked it?
No, that it is a red flag.
Okay.
I mean, here I can scroll up. Let me just have a quick look again. I mean, guys, that link there to join is there, but I'm just going to scroll up real quick. The ones versus the no's, because the ones didn't show up. I don't know if you can see the ones, but yeah, there's pages and pages of them. And then there's a lot of people that also said no too. But I think that the yeses, it's a red flag, far exceed the no's. And I'm guessing people are voicing that based on experience, hopefully. I hope you guys are. I mean, you know, it's nice to speculate too, but yeah, there's tons of them there. All right. Hey, look at me. Look at me. That's what somebody says. People with tats say, hey, look over here. Here I am. Look at me. Admire me. Look at this part of my body. I tend to agree with that, but you know, that's just me. I like to, I'm somewhat, let's just kind of connect with what my intuition says. And my spidey senses say women with lots of tattoos, they usually have more red flags going in their life than a Chinese Communist parade. It happens. There's a super chat there from Remy. Says a lot of women have thigh tattoos today. Could that be today's tramp stamp? You know what? To me, I don't like tramp stamps to begin with, but thigh tattoos, and I've seen them on women, you know, down like their upper legs. You can't see those with dresses. Usually, you can only see them with really short shorts or bathing suits, and they're trying to draw your eyes to something. I don't find them attractive. They look trashy, in my opinion, but you know. It is what it is, but I think you're probably right. It's probably a trashier version of that lower back tramp stamp, because it's a lot more visible, because that's where you're talking to people, unless you're following them, walking behind them, or you're in some other mode. Let's see if there's any. If you guys have questions, you can post them in the comments here too, right? Thoughts on girls in 20s getting tattoos worth hundreds of dollars, spending issues? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you've got somebody on the line that is not master of their money, and they're drowning in debt, and they're getting body art after body art, and they can't afford to put new tires on their car or something like that, yeah, I mean, you got to ask where their priorities lie. To me, that would be a red flag. You know, less the tattoo part, but the management of their finances, to me, would be like, okay, let's kind of question the scenario a little bit. We got Zank that joined us here.
Yeah, one real quick thing on this, because I want to get to Zank, but Randall is harsh. He said tattoos are a sign of low IQ and low class trash. And actually, that doesn't fit with the research that I found when they were looking at, one study was looking at millennial students that had tattoos and comparing them to didn't, and there was no difference in GPA. And it didn't matter whether they were visible or covered or whatever.
So it's a matter of opinion then that it's low class trash.
It might be a matter of his experience. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't date a chick that's inked up like that. It's just not in me. I just don't find it attractive. You know, Plata maybe, but that's it. Zank, you want to unmute yourself? Did you have a question? Something tingling with the spidey senses? What's up, dude?
Hey, man. This is fucked up. So a girl at my work, she has piercings, right? I was on a work due last Friday. She comes up to me and she's like, yo, you've got a new job in July. So I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving in July. She says, oh, right, so you're leaving soon. She says to me, here, do you want to come to mine later? Man, I've ended up taking this girl on 3 dates so far. I've worked with this girl. It's just fucking weird. Girls, that's my thoughts on piercings. You were talking about piercings earlier. I find that strange because I work with her. That's my only thoughts.
So what about her? But what about her behavior specifically did you find strange? Like what Like what set off the alarm bells?
It's not even like alarm bells. This sounds bad. Like there's no, like you've talked about unicorns. When you
Mhm.
talk about unicorns, I often think of giraffes, because giraffes to me look a bit, if you get me.
Well, they stand out a bit. Yeah, they're quite tall.
Yeah. But my thoughts are with her, it's just a strange scenario, man. I've never met a girl in my life who dates someone in work, you know. And
But
that's a girl with piercings. But that's just
so
my
what you're
thought.
saying is you can't put your finger on it.
I can't put my finger on it now.
Speculate. Take a guess, because I have a feeling that you have some idea going on in your head what the red flag might be. What's up exactly?
Oh, I don't know, man. Same work. She hides it from everyone. See, when we leave work, like I was on a date with her tonight. She came around to my place. I left her home there. 100%. Same work. We don't talk about it. It's really fucking strange.
I'm not sure I'm following you here. Are you picking up on this, Sean?
No, I'm a little lost.
So my thoughts are, girls with piercings are a lot more forward. Like when you were talking about, you were asking earlier, basically about piercings. I just think they're a lot more forward. They're probably less conservative. And
Oh, there's no doubt that they're less conservative. Yeah.
yeah, but this is what I can't place my finger on. I can't place why this girl hasn't outed me in work yet. And
Outing you in what sense? Like exposing that you're seeing her?
yeah,
Is that a problem where you work if people know that you guys are seeing each other outside of work?
I work for an IT company. There's 300 people in the building. There's 20 women.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
like it happens at work, people hook up from work, Christmas parties, whatever, right? Like it happens.
Mm.
I don't think it's a good idea to dip, the pen in the company ink sort of thing, but
But this was the thing. Like I have a new job, so I'm actually moving to London in July, and she came up to me and she was like, "Yo, you're leaving soon." So
and that's the first time you've seen a woman that's been that forward.
yeah,
Okay.
ever.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think that women that are willing to do that to their body, pierce and tattoo to that sense, will have the visible ones showing. They're certainly more forward. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but is that a red flag to you? Like, say a girl with piercings in general, is that seen as
Well, I'll put it this way. Like, I know that I'm going to get criticized for this, but I wouldn't date a chick that's mutilated her body. It's like, I wouldn't want to have a friend that bought a Ferrari and fucked up the car and put like weird shit on it. Like, you ever see those cars? Like, I'm a big car guy. You guys already know that. But I mean, like, you ever see a car where you're like, dude, what did you do? You ruined that car.
yeah,
That's how I look at women that mutilate their bodies, that heavily tattoo them and pierce them and do all kinds of weird shit. It's like, like the earrings. Like somebody said in a comment when I posted the event, I think when I shared it on Twitter, any piercing that's big enough to pour water through is a huge red flag. And you see, these people that have these massive like earring loop-de-loops where you can like, you can hang a coat hanger through it, sort of thing. And it's
one
just,
of my friends has one of them, right? And I'll
yeah.
tell you, man, they smell like shit.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, they look awful 15 years later when their ear can't hold shape and it's like hanging down like this, and they got to get cosmetic plastic surgery to reconstruct the ear. Like, they destroy their bodies. And it's like, I don't have respect for a guy that buys a nice car, which was well engineered at the factory and properly designed to look attractive, and goes and puts bumper stickers on it, or weird looking wheels, or stupid spoilers and louvers and things like that. That's how I see a woman that tattoos her body. It's like, like
It's polishing a turd.
she was born, created that way, with that beauty, with a feminine beauty, and went and fucked it all up. You ever see those guys that like buy a Lamborghini and they put like the ugliest wrap on it?
Yeah,
And you're like, dude, what did you do to that car? Like, it just looks so bad now. But that's how I look at those things. So, I mean, that's just my own personal perspective, right? It's like, what's the thinking behind destroying something with such beauty, right? And it's just their personal touch is what it is. They think that the personal touch signals something outwardly, and I get it. It's just, for me, it's not my thing. But just be careful with chicks from work. One, too, certainly be careful with chicks that are that forward, because generally speaking, I think that, women appreciate and value a man more when you approach them and you pick them up and you ask them out, sort of thing. You got any thoughts on that one, Sean? I'm kind of dominating this part of the conversation.
That's fine, because I'm still a little stuck on what's the question. What are we struggling with here?
Well, I think the question was, she's extremely forward, and he's never met a woman that's been that forward with him, and he's a little concerned about whether or not she might do something out of the ordinary that would jeopardize his employment, his new role in London, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, if your intuition's talking to you, you listen to your intuition, but also it's one piece of data, and you got to take it along with all the other pieces of data around her. Do you know her very well? I
don't know her very well. Been on 3 dates with her.
Yeah. So just be careful, protect yourself, protect your Johnson. And it's always good to collect data points, right? If you want to assess a scenario and you have like so much space on your data point collection, if all the data points arrive in one area, it's like, where there's smoke there's fire, sort of thing. Like, something's going on over there. And if after 3-4 dates you're like, spidey senses are tingling on this one, man, I'm not sure something's up, then listen to that. Give yourself some space, give yourself some time. Just don't rush into anything that might cause problems for you, right?
No worries.
And problems can range anything from, hey, let's take a week-long vacation, to hey, just come inside me because I'm on the birth control pill, right? Oh, like it's like, your intuition's talking to you, so just be attentive.
No worries. Thank you very much. Dude.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you go. Post the join link in here again. Let me just deal with the super chat real quick here. Eddie Adams from Torrance says, never get into a relationship with a woman with tattoos. Tattoos are an expression of internal damage. I know this firsthand, smash and dash. What do you think, man? Do you think tattoos are like, I think there's some internal dialogue going on. Is it necessarily damage though, Sean? What do you think?
No. If you think of a tattoo as communication, what this girl is trying to tell the world something, then tattoos are sort of like words. The words she uses and the way she uses them are going to tell you something about her. But the fact that she's speaking doesn't mean that she's damaged necessarily.
Have you noticed the correlation of the number and volume of tattoos and feminism?
I've not looked. I guess if you look online and you look for feminists, like you go to Google and you look for images, you're going to see a lot of tattoos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I would imagine that because feminists tend to be on the hard left side of the spectrum, and the hard left side of the spectrum is more expressive emotionally than the other side of the spectrum. I would imagine that there'd be some correlation there.
There's definitely a lot of expressing and emoting, right? Phil sent a super chat. He said, general for rough bartering girls, I steer clear. I don't know what BRT and bender. I don't know. I'm not clear on that. There's another one here from Phil.
Talking about rough trade. What's he saying?
I'm not sure what that means.
Okay.
It's an acronym. I'm not sure. Phil said, never met a decent girl with values who was tatted up. Yeah, agree.
I disagree. I've met plenty of women who have tattoos that I'm thinking of some friends right now that have tattoos. They tend to be very small, tastefully done, kind of hidden from view, but very level-headed women who have tattoos.
I think tatted up references like tatted up. Like,
yeah, tatted up is different than
at least one sleeve tattoo, back tattoos, maybe angel wings on her shoulder blades, something on her neck, behind her, her neck over here behind the ear. Yeah. Like volumes, like we're talking, you have to count them, and you probably need more than 2 hands to count them all.
Yeah, I agree. Agreed. Tatted up is different than a tattoo.
Yeah. Tatted up is different than a little bit of body art too, I think, right? Let me just scroll down here. Guys, you can post your questions in the chat. Doesn't necessarily have to revolve around tattoos tonight. And the join link, did I post the join link? Is it there? I'll give it to you again. Join link is there. Again, join it from a Chrome browser. You'll get in easily. Android device, it's native. Let you get in immediately. Or if you're on an iOS, iPad, iPhone, you might need to download it to join in. But you guys should know the drill by now. We're on episode 13. Bring your red flags. Bring your questions about them.
Mary Lee White says she has a tattoo. It's between her shoulder blades, and she'll always have long hair, and she'll always regret it. That's very sad.
Can you tell us why, Mary Lee, why you actually regret it? I'm just curious as to why you're not feeling it now after you got it. Or click the link and join us and tell us. I mean, we haven't had a single woman join us on this show yet in 13 episodes.
No, we haven't. It's about time.
And you're, of course, welcome to do so. Admit it, Richard, you just don't like tattoos. I don't. I've already admitted it. I'm not hiding that. I think they look trashy. You get too many of them, it looks trashy. All right, we got to join here. Camardo.
Oh, wait.
Can you hear us okay? Now you're muted again. You can unmute yourself.
I can hear you guys okay.
There you go. Do you have a question, something you want to vet?
Okay, is there like a correlation between the tattoos and feminism? Because I have an ex, she was a pretty decent girl, you know, all right and everything. But then all of a sudden, the more she hung out with her friend that had a tattoo, like lots of tattoos and, you know, extreme feminist views, she started coloring her hair and she's thinking about getting tattoos. So is there like a correlation between both of them?
You know, misery loves company. They kind of rub off on each other. Birds of a feather flock together. However it is you want to sum it up, but yeah, like you're going to become the average of the 5 people you spend the time with. So if you hang out with 5 feminists, you're going to be the 6th, right?
That's true. That is true. Because her views are, well, extreme. And we used to have debates. It's like every time she would start bringing up arguments, that friend of hers would say, you know, men are this, men are that. And I don't know, man. In Jamaica, it's more of conservative views here, but we're becoming more liberated, I guess. So,
Well,
I just wanted to
how I
know
would.
if there was a correlation.
Here's how I would frame that question. Like, my friend is hanging out with a guy who wears a red cap and he steals cars. So now he's going to wear a red cap too. And the red cap's not necessarily the problem. Stealing the cars is the problem. And it's
True.
You know, feminism is contagious and tattoos are certainly contagious. And maybe they're just running in parallel. But tattoo being a fashion thing, fashions are always contagious, right? The only different thing about this one is it's permanent.
It's like it's generally speaking a masculine behavior. Like men, I think, have always, I mean, there's grandfathers I see out there 80, 90 years old with, like, you know, an anchor tattoo on their forearm from when they served in the Navy, right?
Yeah.
But I think part of feminism is the masculinization of females. And it's no surprise to me that tattoos are becoming part of their part of their tribe, like, part of the way that they signal who they are, the bright hair, the short, bright hair, obvious tattoos. I could go on and on. I mean, you can pretty much spot most feminists from like a mile away now. Some of them you can't, just because they haven't, done that to their body yet. But at the end of the day, I mean, like you observed earlier, if you're hanging around people with certain belief systems, you're going to adopt them. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you hang out with red pill guys, you're going to become red pill, right? You hang out with MGTOWs that think that, women are the scourge of the earth and you should just buy a doll. You're going to believe the same thing too, right?
Yeah, that's true. But I gotta say, because we were together, but the more I started watching like the red pill stuff, started listening to guys like Jordan Peterson, that's where we started to diverge and we had to break up. Well, she broke up with me. And believe me, after watching your things, by the way, thanks, Rich, it has changed my life. I have met a girl who is major upgrade. She's not a feminist. She has conservative views. She's working on herself. She has inspired me. Well, I have always been on this journey to become a better man, because, switching to the red pill philosophy, I believe that, when you work on yourself first, you will attract what you need in your life. Whole law of attraction and all that jazz.
Correct. Yeah. Definitely making yourself a priority. Big. All right. Did you have anything else to add or any other questions, man?
Oh, no, that's it. Thanks for your time, guys.
Yep.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kamari.
All right.
Hey, Rich, I got a question for you.
Yeah. Go.
Breast implants.
Yeah.
Same class as tattoos? It's body mutilation.
No, I like tits.
All right. Well, what's the difference? It is body mutilation, right?
Not really. No. I see it as no different than going on a better diet to lose weight, using testosterone replacement therapy to improve yourself and strength and masculinity and feel better. As women age, gravity sets in, and boobs are those things that, are affected by things like gravity and childbirth. So I see no problem whatsoever with breast implants. I mean, as long as it's done tastefully. Again, I mean, if you go excessively and it's like she walks in a room and her boobs enter the room 3 seconds before the rest of her, you probably went a little bit too big, right? But no, I don't see that as a problem on my end. I like boobies.
Okay.
What's your view on that?
I don't like them. I
don't like them?
No.
So what happens when they're like flapjacks and they're kind of like, gravity's kicked in and things are not looking so hot?
I don't know. You're making a good case now.
Yeah.
But I just tend to think that, like you were saying, the female form is just a beautiful thing. I don't think it generally needs to be improved.
Right. So why not improve the female form to look like it's 20 years old again?
Okay.
That's my view. I mean, don't go too far, make it look tasteful, make it, match proportion sort of things.
So it can cross over from tastefully done to looking like body mutilation.
Yeah, I think so. It's like, I said this before, if you go down to Florida, especially Miami, and when you get out at the airport, you see these older cars, like these 80s Chevrolet Caprices, and they've got like 30-inch wheels on them. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
like why so big? Like, why do we have to have 30-inch wheels in a car that's that old? Like, I guess that's the style and that's what they like.
Yeah.
But anything excessive to me in that sense just looks like tattoos, like a couple tattoos, no problem. Sleeve tattoos, angel wings on the back, tramp stamp all the way down the leg and the thighs. Come on, can we slow things down a little bit? Like, let's turn off the afterburners.
Makes sense.
Yeah. About butt implants, somebody said. See,
yeah, what about the butt implants? So you look at Kim
the
Kardashian,
difference between
she's got the diaper butt. It's
yeah, but I mean, like, the difference between butt and boobs is you can go to the gym and squat and get a nice ass. There's some people who argue that genetics and this, that, not bullshit. For the most part, you can develop a nice ass just by working out, but you can never do that with boobs. You're never going to. I mean, the only way to do it is to get fat, really. That's the only way to store body fat in breast tissue with women, is just to pack on weight. But then they do it everywhere, right? It's not like you can just do it in one spot. So that's the whole idea of breast implants. And they've come a long way. I mean, like, there's women that you'll meet out there, you'd have no idea they had breast implants. I'll know though, because I'm an expert.
I wonder how common are the butt implants?
I think a lot more common in the Latino community, less so with Caucasians, but I think Latinos, and I think Black women get them done. I'm not sure. Definitely Brazilian. It's a pretty hot thing in Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got any questions? Oh, the join link. Let me put that back in again. Guys, join us if you want. You got a question, experience to share. We're talking about boobs, butts, and tattoos tonight, apparently.
I guess so. It went downhill quick. I think I took it there.
Well, as soon as you go to the boobs, it's like, all right, you want to talk about boobies? Let's do that. Gotta love the boobies. Okay, where are we? See if we got any questions here in the comments. How about women with dyed hair? Naturally dyed hair to me is not a red flag, but I think like in nature, when you see like bright purple, bright red, bright green, I think generally speaking, that's a warning sign. It's like danger, Roger, sort of thing. Like, I don't know. You have any thoughts on brightly colored dyed hair, Sean?
No, not really. It depends on age a lot. Like I'm encouraging my daughter to experiment with stuff like that because, like I said before, she's so conformist that I think it's going to work against her in life. So I'm trying to push her, ironically, more toward being a little adventurous.
Yeah. Jean-Luc Picard here says, Rich, aren't tattoos a form of self-representation akin to beards with men? No, because you don't grow a tattoo on your body. You actually have to go to an artist to put a needle into your skin and inject ink into your body. It's not the same thing as not shaving for a month.
Is it counterculture now to not have a tattoo?
Probably for a lot of people, I would imagine. I don't have any tattoos. I mean, I've had people say, dude, why don't you get tattoos to cover up your scars? Right? Like, I've actually had people say, why don't you get like a sleeve tattoo to cover up your scars? And no, I'm not doing it. I mean, I've met women that have put tattoos down the side of their body, like down here, to cover up stretch marks from childbirth.
Mhm.
And it doesn't look good. And apparently it's extremely painful. I don't know if it's because of stretch marks or that part of the body, but I've seen people do things like that. But what about rainbow hair? Yeah, like, dude, guys, any brightly colored hair, in my opinion, rainbow hair is even worse. I mean, why? Let's see here. There's a chat. Men with no tattoos are sexy, says Haley. But I think by the same token, if you ask 100 women, the majority of those women would probably agree that tattoos on men are sexy. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
different for men.
That's what one of the studies said.
Yeah. Guys, join link is there if you want to hop in, ask a question, vet a potential train wreck that might be coming your way that you're trying to avoid.
And let us know if the join link isn't working, because last time it was kind of funky and you had to do something different with it to get it to work.
Yeah, well, it should be okay. Let me see if there's any complaints here in the chat. Hey, Richard, what about Korean American pop rocker Michelle Zauner? All right, let's see who Michelle Zauner is. Do a quick Google search. I have no idea who this chick is. Get to you in just one sec, Kevis. Images. She's a Jewish Korean pop singer. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm not sure what to say here. She's got sleeve tattoos. She's an artist. She's got weird, funky hair. It's not my type. I wouldn't go out with her. Nope. That's a big nope on my end. You want to comment on this, Sean?
No, I didn't see the picture.
Michelle Zauner. It's nothing. Nothing to write home about. I'm not sure why the question was raised. Kevis, you want to pose your question or vet your scenario?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, I'm a car guy as well, and
Cool.
I every time I go to Cars and Coffee, I always see guys with like cars, and they'll put bumper stickers and stuff like that, and I ask myself again too, like, why would you do that? But my question was, so I don't have tattoos on myself as well. I only have a couple of piercings, but I was wondering, like, what would cause girls to be attracted to you if you don't have tattoos? Like,
Badass. Alpha. That's all it is. It just signals strength, masculinity. It's just a badass thing, chicks dig that. It's why chicks dig scars, why chicks dig motorcycles. It's dangerous, danger sort of thing. It's like, this guy does things that are attractive to women. I don't know. How do you sum it up, Sean? Why do you think women are attracted to men with tattoos?
oh no,
Evolutionary
I don't have any
psychology.
tattoos.
Evolutionary psychology says that women are looking for two things: ability and willingness. So the ability to go out and provision, and the willingness to stick around and raise children. Like, the most basic level, that's what they're looking for. And under the ability heading is stuff like the ability to go out and conquer the world, the ability to get along with other men and have relationships, or not relationships, but have networks with other men, so that you have more access to more resources and you have more social juice. And these are the things that women are looking for. And it could show up in tattoos, I guess, as like a really superficial way to say, ooh, look at me, I'm dangerous, like the guy I met in Home Depot. But it could also be the guy that pulls up in an R8, or the guy that just carries himself in a certain way, or the guy that has a sense of humor that captures the room. Like, there's a million ways to display this. Maybe not a million, but there's a lot of ways to display this. Tattoos are a pretty superficial way to display it.
Oh, I think you got the question mixed up.
What was
Like,
the question?
you know how they say, like, you are what you attract? I don't have any tattoos, right? But I attract a lot of girls with tattoos. So I'm just wondering, like, what's up with that?
What's your take on that, Sean?
What is it? What are they seeing in you? Have you asked them?
No, not really. I've never really like thought into it, like when I was, dating them and stuff like that. Like, the last girl I dated, she was a coworker. She had like 5 tattoos, but like nothing like sleeves or anything. And they're all like quality, clean tattoos. But I just didn't see like why she was attracted to me, because like after finding the red pill and everything, I noticed she had daddy issues. She had BPD tendencies and stuff like that. But she was never like, she was never like, she never gave me attitude or like, drama or anything like that. But like, I just didn't see like what she was attracted to me.
All right. So of these women that have tattoos that are attracted to you, what are the more significant commonalities that they have if you look beneath the skin surface?
That's a good question. I mean, the last ones, they did say, like, they mentioned, like, they were independent, and, like, I guess, you know, myself, I'm an independent person as well, but other than that, I can't really see any other commonalities. Like, me, in my opinion, I find myself, I have a high self-esteem. The other girls, they, in my opinion, I think they have low self-esteem because sometimes they'll say, oh, I feel like shit, or, you know, I'm a piece of shit, I hate myself, stuff like that. And, like, I just don't know.
Well, I think anybody that's making disparaging comments about themselves, you'd want to question. I mean, they're basically telling you that they don't have a great opinion of themselves, right?
Yeah.
That, to me, that's a red flag.
Right.
I mean, women don't want a guy like one of the iron rules of Tomasi that Rollo wrote in his book is never self-deprecate.
Mhm.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a kiss of death for men. If you're like, oh, I'm such a loser lately this week and I feel incompetent. It's like no woman wants to be with a guy like that. Right.
Right.
All right,
Sorry,
so
Sean,
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
That are you saying these women that are attracted to you tend to have tattoos? And I'm wondering, like, if you've okay, so you found the red pill, you carry yourself with confidence, I assume, because you said you have pretty good self-esteem. And so if you carry yourself in that fashion, then a lot of women are going to be looking your way. And I wonder if it's just the ones with tattoos that happen to be more outgoing in your world. And so you notice them noticing you more than you notice the ones that are being a little more subdued.
It could be that, yeah. Because I tend to, you know, I go to the bars a couple of times, and I see a lot of girls there that don't have tattoos. So I see what you mean by that.
It's just a hypothesis. I don't know. But yeah, now you've got me wondering if women with tattoos are just generally more outgoing, because if they have visible tattoos, then obviously they're more outgoing in some fashion, right?
Right. Right. I mean,
Yeah, interesting. Go collect some data and get back to us. Let us know what's common about these women that besides their tattoos.
yeah, I'll definitely ask. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Cool, man. Thanks. All right. Just going to let that go. By the way, guys, I got the call-in system. It's going to come back up pretty soon. I just got some hardware on back order, so you guys will be able to dial in as well as join the link too. Let's see if we got some questions here. That join link, by the way, is in the chat still, guys. I see a lot of people like asking questions in the chat or wanting to dive into the conversation. Why don't you just click the link and join us? Jean-Luc Boucard says, Sean, do you think getting braces is a superficial way to exhibit a healthy, reproductive, successful mate for both men and women? What do you think?
No, I think getting braces is a way to correct a problem.
Yeah.
Like if your teeth aren't lining up and that can cause dental problems down the road. No, let's just get them straightened out.
Yeah.
For many thousands of dollars. Ask me, I know.
Yeah.
I'm buying them right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with my kid. Orthodontics is fun, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, you got to scroll back up here a little bit more.
It kind of sucks because it hurts them, right? You don't want to do this thing that's a little uncomfortable for them. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it really hurts, and you hate doing that to your kid.
There's some interesting comments in here about hair now. Like Randy Stalcup says, Richard, you said shaving your head is a solution to balding. I personally have the world's thickest hair for now. What if you have ridges on your scalp like I do? And there's another guy that asks about hair transplants being a red flag. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't see the argument to hair transplants or anything like that. It's like they just don't look good. Like there's all kinds of solutions. You can get these scalp tattoos, micropigmentation, I think they call it. I don't think that's a solution, personally. There's hair transplants. There's people that argue that hair transplants now are so great that you'll never even be able to tell the difference. But any guy that I know that's had a hair transplant done before ends up shaving his head at some point just because it never holds or never really looks good. And then once you shave your head, you're dealing with a big scar across the back of your head.
How does a transplant work? They take it from somewhere else on your body?
Yeah, well, apparently they cut a line in the back of your head over here where it's thick, and they basically take that strip of meat with hair follicles in it, and they cut it into little pieces, and then they just inject it into your scalp. I mean, it's your own.
Does the hair grow back then in that strip that they removed?
It does, but it only lasts for so long apparently, because any guy that I know that's had a hair transplant done always ends up shaving their head after a while, and it just doesn't look good because now they've got the big scar. It does, but it only lasts for so long apparently. All right, Antonio, do us a favor and just mute your live broadcast. While, and it just doesn't look good because now I'm going to mute you while you figure that out. Guys, when you hit the join link, make sure you've got the actual YouTube broadcast, the audio. Just put the mute line through it.
Okay, sorry about that.
Go ahead. Mute you while you figure that out. Nope, didn't figure it out yet.
Am I good now?
You're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, so I've taken the red pill a long time ago, and I'm with a really good girl now. You know, after taking the red pill a long time ago, it's helped me, you know, be able to be better selective with women. But I kind of notice sometimes maybe I get a little bit paranoid, like maybe I question too much. Like, what's a good way, like, you know, have taken the red pill, like not to get too paranoid about like every little thing that she does. I mean, you know, she's a very calm, like religious girl, doesn't really go out. You know, she's very family oriented, good girl. But I mean, there's some strange behaviors, and I guess sometimes she doesn't like that I ask too many questions. And she's a pretty honest girl. So what's a good way to balance like paranoia, like taking the, you know, red pill and everything?
It sounds like a lot like this is up your alley, Sean. It sounds like anxiety.
Yeah, I like this question a lot because I see this question not just with the red pill, like the manosphere red pill, but anytime somebody has worked through something really difficult, like coming to terms with cancer and accidents, whatever it is, whatever dangers there are in the world. And the answer to not getting paranoid is, number one, don't get yourself isolated with your own head and people who are saying the same things that your head is saying. You got to step outside of that echo chamber and get other sources of information just to have some balance and some other perspective. You may not believe it. That other information may not square with you, but don't let your brain and the world feed you one source of information or one line of ideas, because who wouldn't get paranoid if you're only hearing one thing over and over and it's
Right.
all dangerous and scary?
Because like, you know, this is actually my favorite red pill channel to actually watch, that I figure is like the most rational, because some of the other content out there in the manosphere, the way they label women, it's like they're all these sneaky, devious, you know, just creatures. But, you know, I do believe that, you know, even though they're a bit rare nowadays, that a good woman is hard to find. And I just, you know, figure that I just know that this woman is good for me. And it's not necessarily one-itis, but, you know, I feel like I selected a really good woman, and I don't want to lose that. Like, I want to maintain my frame. I want to maintain, you know, being a good man, and, you know, maintain my my male frame. You know, I don't want to, you know, let the paranoia get to me.
Right. So you're in this transitional phase between figuring out that the world is dangerous and then learning how to exist in the world and not let that drive your behavior. And let's say that somebody is recovering from cancer, right? They had this illusion that the world was a perfectly safe place. Nothing bad was ever going to happen to them. And then boom, they got cancer. And then they go through this phase where they're paranoid about everything. And if they don't push themselves through that phase by looking at other sources of information and facing that anxiety directly and so forth, then they retreat into paranoia. But the ideal situation is that you get to the place where you know what the world is about as best you can, and it doesn't drive your behavior. Like you say, okay, the world's a dangerous place. I'm going to get up this morning and participate anyway.
Right. Exactly.
What are you paranoid about exactly?
Well, okay. So for instance, I know this is crazy, but usually whenever she goes out with family, like I said, I've told her I'll never keep you away from family, but I just noticed some like change in behaviors, kind of. Usually, like, just to kind of prove that she's with their family, she'll like send a picture, or like, you know, kind of be like very, you know, tell me like, hey, how the family dinner went or something like that.
Are you paranoid that she might be up to no good or seeing somebody else, or?
Well, okay, kind of the change in behavior. I noticed, like, she was there. She was at the family event. She had an uncle who's a famous singer, and you know, she went to the concert. He's not a famous like mainstream singer. He's like in the Muslim community, but anyway. like I just noticed that like she wasn't very active on like her social media. Normally, like when she's out with family, she'll be like, "Hey, I'm having fun with my family and tell me how everything's going." But I noticed that she just kind of wasn't as active, and it's like, she just wasn't really like texting me or just saying how it was going, like she usually does when she was with her family. So that like that's what I'm saying, like trying to balance the paranoia versus like, because I completely trust her, I trust her, but at the same time I don't want to let my guard down and you know
Right, but I mean, I'm not hearing you like overtly state this, but you're saying that you're paranoid about what she might be up to, which leads me to believe that she might be up to indiscriminate things that you're concerned she might be getting into.
right, exactly,
But you're not stating that. So like here's the thing that you got to get for yourself, because you can't control any other part of the universe but you.
right,
So don't worry about what she's up to. If she's up to no good, she's up to no good, whatever. You're a man of vision and purpose. You're chasing your excellence. She
right,
wants to bounce on you. You can split 3 plates in a week, right? Like you'll
right,
figure it out. Just look at it like that. There's a lot of people, and I've done this myself, I'll be honest. Like I've consumed my time and my thinking with, what is she doing? Where could she possibly be? What did that thing mean? That social media post or that whatever, or that message mean? It's a fucking waste of time, man. It's a waste of energy. You can't control any of that. Your ROI on dispensing your energy on yourself, becoming a better version of yourself, whatever, generating passive income, improving your network, meeting
right,
greater,
exactly,
smarter people, is a far better use of your time than wondering what she's up to, because that will catch up to you. Like it will, even if you try to suppress it, even if you try to hide that you're feeling those things, she's going to pick up on it, dude. She's going to pick up on it. She's going to know that, the balance of power has shifted in her favor, and that you're in her frame. And, the whole point of the red pill, which I wholeheartedly, agree with this part of it, is that you need to make yourself your own mental point of origin. You need to make yourself your priority. You need to make your purpose your passion. You need to chase your excellence. You have to be a man of vision. She will never walk on you if she thinks that you're the best possible guy that she can get. Right. That's
right.
really what it just boils down to. Like, that's what hypergamy is.
Yeah, because I mean, she sees that definitely. Because I mean, I'm always in the gym. I'm working on starting my own business and everything like that online, and just I have my vision going, and and I've even told her before, because we've had some previous issues, like, hey, if you feel like you need to go, go, and I would rather, instead of just sitting here like sometimes being paranoid, or if she feels like she needs to go, she can go.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
yeah, but I mean, like, at the same token, just so I'm clear, like, women don't care about the struggle. They hang out at the finish line and they fuck the winners. So starting up a business, doing some work in the gym, if there's not obvious progression in you becoming a better version of yourself, she's just going to see it as you as a stagnant sort of, horizontal line instead of a vertical line that's sort of climbing. You know what I'm saying?
right. All right. Well, I appreciate the help.
Hang on, I got one thought to add here.
Yeah.
One way to frame this so that the anxiety doesn't start driving your behavior and making you do things that are going to work against you is to frame this not as an issue between you and her, but as an issue between you and your own mind, because you have this amazing piece of equipment between your ears that is designed to keep you alive. You're not supposed to get eaten by tigers. You're not supposed to get run over by buses, that sort of thing. And it's really good at keeping you safe. And so when you have been feeding it this red pill information, which is mostly good information, it's taking notes and it's saying, okay, I get it now. The world's a dangerous place. I see what happens if I mess up. So I'm going to start talking to you about all the dangers in the world. And so your job at that point is to say back to your mind, I get it. You're not my enemy. I understand that you're trying to keep me from getting run over here, but I don't need to listen to you right now. And then it's all self-contained and it doesn't involve her.
Before you go, real quick, Antonio, I can't remember what the exact soundbite is, but the whole point of taking the red pill and women is don't worry about trusting women. Just trust women to be women.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they are going to be what they are, what they've been hardwired to be, how they've been designed to behave. It is what it is, man. So just trust their nature and don't be surprised about it if something doesn't go your way, just because you understand what female nature is. That's all it is. I mean, it's not about hating women. That's the thing that a lot of people get confused on. There was a woman that, sent me this long email a couple weeks ago that was going on about, it's obvious that you hate women, Rich. It's like, nobody that knows me personally would say that I hate women. right?
Right, of course. Yeah, I mean that's why I'm really careful about like what type of manosphere, like some red pill content, like MGTOW and black pill. It's just
Yeah.
a lot of it out there that claim to be like MGTOW or red pill, they kind of are like women haters. It's not really that they're trying to, really understand the nature of the female and learn how to deal with it. So that's why I really like your content and what I'm listening to right now, and I really appreciate the advice and everything.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks.
Okay, thanks a lot.
See ya.
Hey, Rich, before we get to Phil, let me put you on the spot here for a minute, okay?
Yeah.
Fun question. So we have this.
I like your fun questions when you bring them up.
My wife and I have this friend. We'll call him Leroy, and Leroy is not firing on all cylinders. Like, he's really struggling in life. He's kind of scraping along the bottom, but he's married. It's not a great relationship, but he's married and they got a kid. And so my wife saw that tweet that you put up where you said women don't care about men's struggles. They just hang out at the finish line and fuck the winners.
Mhm.
And she said, all right, well then how would Rich explain Leroy?
They're married?
Yeah.
Well, she's got to untie the knot. I mean, it's a lot easier for women, but they're only going to tolerate it for so long, and women only tolerate what they can get. So if she feels like she's optimized her hypergamy or she can't do much better on the sexual marketplace, she's going to hang out with Leroy for now anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the answer. She's doing the best she can.
I think that you already knew the answer. You just wanted me to answer that question that your wife asked because of the tweet itself.
I wanted to see what she said, but
Yeah.
that was my guess too. Like, she's got the best she can get because
Yeah,
she's
like,
not
that's the
firing on all
best that
cylinders either.
Right. Like, that's probably the best that she can get. Like, I remember, my single mommy nightmare girlfriend, she had this really close friend that I would constantly hear these stories about, how she hated her husband and how depressed he was. And he would just lock himself in his room and not do anything. And I was like, so why does she just bounce and leave then? If she's not happy, if she's done the work and, she thinks that she can do better. And then I met her and then I figured out very quickly why she hadn't left. It was really the best that she could get.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what that really boils down to. And back to Antonio's point, I mean, like, don't hate women for how they behave. I mean, like, the whole point of the red pill is to not hate women for what they can't be to you, sort of thing. So just understand that, like, you've been pre-programmed and predisposed to believe that there's someone and women are sugar and spice and all things nice. And then when you leave that, that bubble that you've been told to live in, and you kind of live in a space and you get your heart broken and it's like crushed in a zillion different pieces. And then you realize that women aren't necessarily sugar and spice and all things nice, and they can do shit that can be very painful. Then you start to like kind of go down a bad path. So just understand that, women can't be what you've probably been told they should be, and don't hate them for that. I mean, it's just part of the hardwiring. It's part of their biological imperative. So just roll with it. Use it to your advantage. I think Phil was up next. If you want to unmute yourself, dude.
Yeah, Rich, Dr. Smith, it's so nice to finally be talking to you guys live.
How you doing?
Once again, thanks a lot for doing this live and everything you guys are doing for the community. It's really great.
Thanks, man.
I guess really just to harken back to the original topic about tattoos and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was the one who sent the earlier super chat. I was just trying to fit in the characters because I had signed up to YouTube Premium, avoid the ads and all that BS.
Okay.
And it only lets you get in so many characters. Anyway, yeah, that was a shortening. Tattoos have generally, as far as I've seen, tatted up girls have been solely reserved or sectioned off for rough cut bartender girls and biker girls, and that's it. And it's generally known, I mean, through the community and all that kind of stuff, that you just don't associate with those girls. You're going to get into trashy kinds of behavior. You're going to be around trashy people, et cetera, and it's never proven to be wrong.
What community is this?
Well, I mean, right now I live in the DC suburbs, but I came from Central Virginia, and it was generally the same kind of thing. It was like that bartender chick culture. It's, the tatted up sleeves and that kind of stuff. And not to hit on those girls, not to talk to them because you know what you're going to be in for. And, it kind of goes with that. So generally it's kind of a red flag. Sure. I haven't met an attractive woman that I would find appealing yet who's revealed that she's got tons of tattoos. And I've said, oh, wait a minute, is this something I have to balance out and think about as far as whether or not I should proceed with, pursuing a relationship? No, it's never entered the equation.
Yeah, like you're about your wits then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was
Yeah.
it. Basically just
Yeah,
clarifying.
you're just echoing what we're saying, but yeah.
Yeah. And,
cool. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone said the thing about the bartender / biker chick kind of thing. But it does tend to be that they're like a man's girl kind of girls. Like,
yeah, like they kind of belong to the game is what you're saying.
Everywhere, but they do tend to be girls that are mostly with, lots of, rough types of, fighting in the streets kind of guys and stuff like that. Those are the types of communities you kind of want to stay away from. And the tattoos are generally just a emblazoned flag to basically stay away.
Yep. It's an interesting point. I did this sponsored request on my channel a couple of weeks ago. The video hasn't gone live yet, but this guy sent me a link to some data on divorce and women betatizing men. And in that data, I think it came from a law firm's website. There was like 70 odd points, and there's one chart in there which indicated that the highest levels of divorce come from women that work either as bartenders. I think 1 was bartenders, and 2 was dancers, and 3 was massage therapists. But it's no surprise that I think that women that are in those kind of more social environments, where they got a lot of skin exposed. I mean, if they're putting things on their skin like tats, like look at me, look over here sort of thing, then it would draw even more attention to them. Yeah, but it's no surprise that there's always some baggage that comes with that. Somebody here in the comments said no bartenders or waitresses. I think it was the Hot Crazy Matrix. What was his list of strippers, hairdressers, redheads, girls named Tiffany, waitresses? I think, I don't know, something like that. You get the point, though.
It was close to that, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
thanks, Phil.
guys. All right, I'll drop off. All right.
See ya.
All right.
Matt, go ahead, bro. You're just muted right now. No, you're still muted.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. Yeah, I threw a comment in earlier. I didn't know what you thought of it. It's just an idea I thought I'd float, is that tattoos are external evidence of internal damage. And the more damaged, the more traumatized somebody is, then the more likely they are to have psychological issues. So in the same way that correlation doesn't equal causation, it's not a definite predictor that somebody with a lot of tattoos is going to have a lot of psychological issues, but it's a pretty good sign. So what do you think of that?
Well, I would agree. I think tattoos are definitely a red flag when they're in high volumes and visible. Things like sleeves, neck tattoos, behind the ear, behind the neck, feet, stuff like that. I mean, you're not saying anything different than what we've talked about earlier. I don't know if you kind of hopped in a little bit later, but there was a bunch of people. I think there was more people that agreed that high volumes of tattoos on women are a red flag based on their experience. There's a lot of people that said no. I don't know. I mean, I've never personally met a chick that wasn't crazy that didn't have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah, I had an experience recently, actually, which was I dance a lot, and I met a nice lady dancing, and she had quite a lot of tattoos. She seemed really nice, really sweet, followed the lead, no problem on the dance floor. Got chatting with her online, and I did want to know if the tattoos were a red flag. So I did ask her, well, are you really sweet and nice underneath, or or all the way through, or are you just like that on the surface and a little bit crazy underneath, and you're good at hiding it? And she did say, well, actually, yeah, I am. I've got to admit to that. And my kids would say I'm crazy, bloody blah. So I really backed off at that point. I thought that was a really good sort of indicator. It's on its own, it's not a red flag, but it's kind of a warning sign if you take it together with other things.
So single mom with a lot of tattoos?
Yeah. Backed right off.
You played them, you don't date them. That's it.
Yeah.
Dance with her if she's a good dancer, have some fun, play.
Yeah.
But
she seemed really sweet. You just wouldn't know on the surface that there was anything there. But once you start to get this red pill awareness, it really gets into you, and you really start to see things quite quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit of a superpower, isn't it?
So thanks for the great stuff, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. All right, let's let you go.
Let me bounce this off you, Rich, that a lot of tattoos may be not necessarily a red flag, but definitely a yellow flag that says you need to start asking some questions here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, asking questions is always good. What's the story behind the tattoos? Why'd you get them? You know, sort of thing. Why is it over there? What does that mean? You know, why do you have that tattoo of that weird devil-looking guy with its tongue sticking out, murdering a small baby?
Yeah, what's the story there?
What's the story behind that? Huh?
If you think of a tattoo as a message, right? So everybody has a message. So there's a way to say your message that is constructive and not off-putting, and then there's a way to say your message where you're the crazy person standing on the corner downtown waving a sign and haven't taken a shower in 3 weeks, and might be the same message but conveyed in a different way. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's see if I got the join link in here. There's a question in the chat I want to hit in a second, but before I do, Randy says, Richard, I love you and find you entertaining, but do you have more dynamic range? Is there anything that genuinely excites you, angers you, or makes you sad? Is your YouTube persona stoic? I'll get to that in a second. So quick shout out to the channel sponsor. Look at that. So Scott sent me the final product the other day. I linked it on social media. He's a guy that does the tactical soap. He's done pheromone infused beard oil now. Now, I actually got involved in the development of this product. I got sample sent and helped him pick out final scent. And I even let him use my logo, or not my logo, but my little avatar on his God of War product. It's actually very well priced, believe it or not, guys. It's got the same pheromones it's in that, but it's in a beard oil, so it stays in a lot longer, obviously, rather than washing it off your body. And it's twice the size of the regular beard oils that I've bought in the past for 19 bucks. I think this is 29 bucks. But there's a link in the description. You guys check out with coupon code Cooper. You'll get 10% off. Really helps support the creation of content on my channel. So if you're a fellow with some facial hair, consider grabbing some of that. So Randy's question. Apparently, my YouTube persona is stoic, Sean.
Stoic, meaning that word dynamic range caught my attention. I guess you're not very expressive. Is that what that means?
I don't know. Apparently, I'm not that expressive. I'm too stoic.
All right. So, what gets your engines revving besides your R8?
Fast cars. Yeah.
Your brand new McLaren. Does that get your blood pumping?
That's not coming for a little while. That'll that'll be me leaning into the future. And I'm certainly not a billionaire, so I'm not buying $1.5 million Senna. That's not even on the books. I mean, you probably have to buy at least 2 McLarens before they'll even offer to sell you one of those, from what I understand. But I don't know. I think I'm pretty transparent. I'm as authentic as I can be when we're talking. I mean, I'm no different in person. Like, you've met me in person, right?
Yeah, you're the same guy in person.
It's just me. I don't let things bother me. People say, what makes you sad or what makes you angry, and I think that one of the things that I've learned as I've gotten older is to become more stoic. Yes. Not let things bother me or get under my skin so much or get riled up over certain things. When you look at people, if you see them make mountains out of molehills, I mean, this is what I do anyway, but if I notice people making mountains out of molehills quite often, it leads me to question, their management of their resources, of their AKA fuck sort of thing. That's just me. Maybe it comes off as stoic. It is what it is.
How do you think women respond to your stoic nature?
Depends. I think if they're genuinely interested in me, if there's genuine desire, I think it's a turn on. If it's not quite there, maybe if they're like a 7 or 8 on the desire scale, not a 9 or a 10. So if it's a 7 or 8, more like passive, I'd say it's probably problematic for them, because maybe they can't read me, they can't control me. I don't know what it is. Either way, I don't really care. That's just me.
Were you saying that sometimes they see you as passive?
No.
Okay.
I've been told things like, still waters seem to run deep. There seems to be a lot more to you than what you display. And it's like, good. Women like a little bit of mystery. They want to try to draw certain conclusions themselves. Like the biggest sex organ is the one between their ears, right? So you give away too much. I've learned that you keep a little bit back anyway. They kind of draw their own conclusions, and it brings them to places that they want to go anyway. So a little bit of stoicism goes a long way in my estimation anyway.
There was this expression that was around when I was a kid, and I'm trying to think. You don't hear it anymore. Like my parents' generation would talk about the strong silent type as a guy that was somebody that was attractive, like that old Jimmy Dean song, Big John. Like he was strong and silent, and he saved all the guys' lives in the mine. If anybody's ever heard that song, but that strong silent type phrase just doesn't circulate anymore. I don't think.
No, because a lot of people are loud and emotional now.
Yes.
Even like guys today are told to emote and, wear your heart on your sleeve and, tell her exactly what you're feeling. And it's like, oh man, there's not a lot of strong silent types, so much anymore. Let's hit Amir. If you want to unmute yourself, you got a question or something to contribute, my man?
Hi, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's actually regarding what Sean mentioned a bit earlier regarding, I think he was referring to like state of mind and how to be in control of yourself, essentially. And you guys were talking about with Stoicism. So my question is quite simple, really. What are some factors or some habits or some techniques to really get a solid inner game, like a solid mindset? I've been, personally speaking, I've been practicing CBT. I've been reading a lot about emotional intelligence. I've been following Marcus Aurelius. Hey, we should do a video on that, by the way. but there's I just want to know if there's anything else I could be doing or should be doing because
I'm not sure if I follow your question. Do you think you can distill it in one sentence for me?
Yeah. So basically, the show is about before the train wrecks.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know before the train wrecks for my personal self, for my own mindset, for my inner game, how do I prevent any anxiety being induced or attachment being induced by when let's say I'm in a relationship or what have you. Does that make any sense?
How to keep a handle on your anxiety so it doesn't start making decisions for you?
Yeah, or basically like how to have a solid inner game, how to have a solid stoic mindset.
Well, I think the reading that you're doing is good, but I wrote this book. I'm going to give myself a little plug here. I wrote this book a long time ago. It was called The User's Guide to the Human Mind. And what I was trying to do with that book was distill a lot of behavioral psychology and how to manage anxiety and how to have that strong inner game, but write it in language for myself, like the language that I would understand. And if you want to give that, that's a good place to start with how to create some distance between you and the anxiety and how to relate to your own mind a little bit differently.
I think a lot of anxiety, and, again, I'm not clinically trained. Like I'm just kind of the pleb that, Sean kind of hangs out with for some reason on Monday nights. But, I think that when it comes to outcome dependence, that can drive a lot of anxiety too, right? So if you have a certain expectation that something is going to happen based on your input, and you're dependent on that outcome, that can really tie up a lot of your bandwidth, can't it?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, thanks a lot, gentlemen.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, just guys, don't have like that outcome in dependence on certain expectations, right? Like again, the only part of the universe you can control is yourself. Your own choices, your own decisions. You take ownership for those things. That's the greatest ROI. But being dependent on outcomes that you can't control in a relationship with chicks, with other things, for example, you got to understand that there's only so much energy that you can expend to that. That's in my view anyway, right? I mean, there's only so much you can control with it. I don't know. What do you think, Sean?
Well, I'm starting to look a little more into Stoic philosophy, and the philosophy seems to be you control the controllables, and the rest of it you don't get attached to the outcome because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah. What's that saying about disappointment and outcomes?
I don't know.
I don't know. I got to look it up. I probably have to distill that in a video at some point. See if we got any other questions here. What do you got? Like 8 more minutes?
I got a question. It's probably a question that you get a lot. I can't find it. I'll have to paraphrase it. But someone said you're giving women way too much credit. Back when we were talking to Antonio, I think you give women way too much credit and they're evil and you know it. And I suspect you hear that a lot. So what is your thoughts on that?
I get it from both ends. I get you hate women to you give women too much credit. Like, which is it? Right. I guess it all depends on who's watching, what their assessment is, right? You're a woman hater. Oh, you give women way too much credit. They're evil. Like, pick a side. Like, where do I sit on that? And obviously, if I'm not sitting on one side, I think that says that my view is fairly balanced, based on the inputs. I mean, yeah, you're going to lean in one direction more than others sometimes, depending on what the conversation's about or where you're going. But like, guys that hate women, I don't get it, right? Like, it's like hating the sky for being blue, right? When women go, oh, my ex-boyfriend Alpha with the tattoos and the motorcycle, he was such an asshole. Why couldn't he just be kinder? It's like, because alphas usually are assholes. It's assholes that get things done in the world, sort of thing, right? Why are so many entrepreneurs, manic or egomaniacs? There's a lot of the observation they make in the business community. It's because they get shit done. Like, you have to step on some toes to get shit done, right?
Yeah. So if you choose to have someone in your life and they have a nature, don't get mad at them when their nature comes out.
Yeah. What's that thing with the frog and the scorpion crossing the river?
Yeah, I've heard with a frog and the scorpion, or a fox and the snake, or whatever. But
yeah,
say the frog is giving a scorpion a ride across the river. The scorpion is saying, "I need to get over there. I can't get over there." And the frog says, "Well, I'm not going to give you a ride because you're a scorpion and you're going to bite me, and then I'm going to die." And the scorpion says, "No, this time's different. I really need to get over there. Promise I'm not going to do anything." So they get halfway across the river. The frog has a scorpion on his back, and the scorpion stings the frog. And the frog says, "What the hell did you do that for?" And the scorpion says, "Well, I'm a scorpion. What did you think I was going to do?"
What did you think? Yeah, it's like, guys will get surprised when their wife or their girlfriend or their fiance goes to Las Vegas for a girls' weekend for 4 days, and she's fucking guys. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Did you think they were going to sit down there and have like tea and crumpets, the whole time? Right? Like, you have to understand what human nature is, and just expect it to be what it is. You get up in the morning, it's going to be brighter than what it is at nighttime, sort of thing, right? It is what it is.
And so some women are going to do that more than other women.
Correct. Yeah. But it is in their nature. I mean, like, you cannot be surprised. You put somebody in a certain environment, and the outcome, I can almost always predict what the outcome is. I mean, guys, you get lazy as a man, you get fat, you're sitting around watching sports every night with Cheeto dust on your chin, not participating, with your kids' daily activities, and your wife's getting hotter every year doing yoga. She gets a boob job, and all of a sudden you're wondering why she's banging, Tyrone, the personal trainer. I mean, come on.
Is he related to Steve from accounting?
He's Steve's cousin, and Kevin's brother-in-law.
Right. These guys are out there.
Yeah. It's
and they're taking care of themselves, and their competition.
Yeah, it is what it is, right? Anyway, we're winding down on the hour. You got any closing comments or thoughts on this one?
Well, when we were telling the scorpion story, Free Wi-Fi said, "I'm a Scorpio," and that made me laugh. I thought that was kind of funny.
I'm a Scorpio too. I was born in November. Somebody asked if I was an introvert there earlier. Yes, I would say I'm definitely introverted, although I can be extroverted in the right circumstances.
How do you define introvert? Like, you get drained when you're around too many people for too long?
It depends on the environment. I like my batteries recharge when I'm around great people and having great conversations. If I have people like sucking the life out of me with their drama or their bullshit, then I definitely feel drained, and I'm far better off by myself, my own space, writing, watching a movie, play a game, whatever, creating content. Like I'd rather do that than be in an environment where I know that I'm going to be drained by people. But I'm mostly introverted, I think. I don't know. Like, what about you? Are you mostly introverted or extroverted?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same camp. I'm pretty introverted, and people drain me unless it's, I love when I'm working one-on-one with somebody. That's energizing. Or if I'm around a bunch of energizing people, that's energizing. The people I can't be around are drunks, because drunks just bore the hell out of me. I just instantly put me to sleep, with the exception of one guy. There's my wife has an office party every year, and there's one guy that's silent all year, and then at Christmas he'll get a little bit toasted, and he and I have the greatest conversations, but he's the only drunk in the world that I can talk to, and he only gets drunk once a year.
Yeah, and what I noticed about alcohol, and maybe we could make this a topic of of an opening show, is it tends to amplify who somebody really is.
Yeah.
Right? Like if somebody's, and it's the same thing with money too. Like, if you're an asshole and you make a lot of money, you're just going to be an asshole with a lot of money and do things that a lot of money will buy you, sort of thing. Same thing with alcohol. Like it turns off filters. So if you're going to behave a certain way, you're going to say certain things, it'll come out more often when you're drunk versus when you're not drunk, because that's when the filters are on.
Yeah, because what's happening is you're severing the inhibition between your prefrontal cortex and the rest of you that wants to act like an animal. So are you a friendly animal or a vicious animal? That's what comes up.
Yeah, it's why when your fiance was fucking the stripper during her bachelorette party, she said, I was drunk and all the other girls were doing it. Yeah, that's when it happens, guys. All right, let's wrap up the show. We've done 90 minutes. It's a good 90-minute bet.
Flew by.
Yeah. All right. You good for next week? Next Monday?
I'm good for next week. I'm not good for the 15th.
All right. So next week on the 8th, Sean and I will be on. The 15th, I'll do a show solo. We'll do kind of maybe stuff tied into the last time that we missed you, Sean. We'll do like the entrepreneur stuff, maybe, money talk. You guys can chime in with that. Hopefully I'll have the the hardware ready so we can use Blog Talk again and people can call in. But yeah, thanks for joining in. Thanks to everybody for the super chat. Thanks to people that clicked the link and joined us, shared their experiences, asked questions. Thank you. That's it's becoming an interesting series for me. I know Sean's having a good time with it. So we'll see you guys next week. All right, we're off. See you guys later. Peace.